got Vaz's predictions here, so I'm just gonna throw them in as we go along. Kyle does.
The only thing is, you read if you've got Vaz's predictions, you got to read it in his voice.
That's gonna be difficult. I don't have a mother's favorite quizmaster voice. I'm just.
You realize he's gonna have a lot to say, when he watches this, and he's like, "Oh, he should actually introduce himself like Adam Cole."
Just to spite him, I'm gonna end this video with peace and chicken grease.
Gimmick infringement. He's not gonna be impressed.
It doesn't matter. He's not here now. He's gonna see it on the video uploaded.
And we should actually say some disparaging things about women's wrestling in general, and
Chris Jericho because he's on AEW.
I'm trying to think of how we're gonna hook Kyle as well. Who else? Lexi. We're gonna say things about.
We got Tay Conti on the card. That's one of his chicks.
Oh, good. Okay, I know who I'm picking. Hi guys. I know you guys are gonna watch this at some point, but
have a nice day. Bang bang. What's up, guys? Welcome to it. This is the major players predictions for AEW Full Gear 2021. And as you guys can clearly see, things are a little bit different. And they've been different for a few videos now. So, sorry, Jeremy, you were going to say something.
Now the herd has been thinned. We're down to 2.
And then there were 2. Well, as you guys can see, sometimes life gets in the way. Unfortunately, Vaz had some responsibilities to take care of. He couldn't be here today, but he was so kind enough as to give me his predictions, which I do have here, and I'll read out for you as we go along in the card. But, and as for Kyle, obviously, he's decided to sit this one out. Not the biggest AEW fan, so I guess he decided, take a break on this one. But yeah, anyways, you've got me and him here.
You realize what this means that Kyle sits this round out, right?
He's going to eat the chip. He's going to eat the Reaper chip. It's guaranteed. We only have 2 more shows, this one and Survivor Series. He's eating the chip in December, that's for sure.
Let's just go nuts on this one. I can just, for the next 2. And unless you guys go like really, really insane, there's no way I'm finishing last.
Yeah. You're going to finish first. You're far ahead of all of us. You're in pole position right now. Diabolical Jeremy in fuego. So, yeah. But, I mean, you guys are watching. You know Jeremy. You know myself. We are really, and I think I'm going to piss Vaz and Kyle off really bad here by saying that myself and Jeremy are probably the real firecrackers of the major players. We're the ones who bring life to the party. So without them, it's fine. We're gonna make this pop anyway. So guys, I know things have been a little different from the last 2 videos, but make sure, I know you're gonna enjoy this, so drop a big like on this video and subscribe to Pro Wrestling Central if you haven't already. I know we heard you guys last time, when we did the Crown Jewel predictions. It wasn't the best video. I think of all the major players, it got the lowest views. So we heard you guys, but here. Doesn't matter who sits it out. We're still going to be here. We're still going to drop these predictions for you and Full Gear Survivor Series of the last 2. So, I mean, in December, when we're doing the WWE Day 1 predictions, that's probably when you guys are going to find out who won and who's taking the Reaper chip. I can already predict that Jeremy's going to win. He's far ahead of 30 points, way ahead of all of us. It's literally myself and Kyle battling it out. And I think since Kyle's sitting this one out, it gives me a high advantage to get ahead of him in the standing points. So, yeah, I mean, as you guys know, I am the CEO of PWC, your boy Nashville, or as you know me from the PWC universe, Nash Van Dam, NVD over here. And I got over here our resident legal bald eagle, Jeremy. So, yeah, you can do your pose if you want. That looks more like Titus worldwide.
I'm trying messing around with that. Maybe I'll do that. Make like feathers in my head. No idea. I'm not good with the hand gestures.
Yeah, so we're doing without Kyle, and your mother's favorite podcaster, Baz, is not here. But I mean, we're going to jump into this card. So we have 8 matches on this card, and I'm just going to run through them really quick. And Jeremy, you're going to give me your quick thoughts, your overall thoughts of the whole pay-per-view when I'm done with all 8 matches. And then we're going to dissect each match individually. So going from top, I mean, the main card to the other card, it looks like this. You got the singles match for the AEW World Championship. Kenny Omega, the current champion, taking on Hangman Adam Page with the Dark Order. You got the AEW Women's World Championship being defended by Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, against Tay Conti. Then you have the AEW World Championship Eliminator Tournament Final. That's Bryan Danielson taking on Miro. We have the 10-man tag team Minneapolis Street Fight, the Inner Circle, taking on Men of the Year and America's Top Team. You got the AEW World Tag Team Championship. That's the Lucha Brothers taking on FTR. Darby Allin taking on MJF. CM Punk versus Eddie Kingston. And we have a 6-man tag team Falls Count Anywhere match. Christian Cage and the Jurassic Express taking on the Super Click, or as we in South Africa would say and pronounce it as the Super Click. Adam Cole, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson. So those are the 8 matches on the card. So Jeremy, your overall thoughts of the card. What do you expect? What do you think is going to happen? Go ahead.
Look, I like a card like this. I must be honest. There's so many ways this can play out. I like the fact that Miro, even though, and before I go any further, I just hope Jon Moxley gets well. I just hope Jon Moxley gets well. He gets better. He gets to be the guy that we want to be, to see out there again. You're probably not going to see this, but Mox, I hope you get better, man. I hope whatever's going on in your life, you get sorted. You're one of the guys in AEW that I do like watching. That being said, I like the way they've got this can go so many ways. Like if you look at, you could either have Bryan Danielson win and then take on Kenny Omega, or you could have the outsider. And that promo that Miro cut on Wednesday night before his match, that was amazing. So and he could go after Hangman Adam Page. That being said, there's some matches or some aspects to some matches that I'm not too happy about. I've literally just seen that the Elite are going to be with Kenny Omega and the Dark Order are going to be with Hangman Adam Page. And sometimes they can go a little bit overboard with the outside interference and shenanigans and everything else. Yeah. The Inner Circle versus the Men of the Year. I still don't know how I feel about that. Some of those promos have been good. Some of those promos have been like cringeworthy, like you said.
Yeah.
Match of the nights. The match I'm looking at to probably steal everything. I do like to call this one. Lucha Brothers versus FTR as the possible match of the night candidate. I know there's a lot of, it's stacked. It's a good card. It's a good solid card. I'm a little bit weirded out that there's just one ladies match on the entire card, but I guess it is what it is. It should be interesting. Guys.
Well, my thoughts on this card. I like the card like this. My biggest pet peeve for All Outs and even a lot of WWE cards is they try to shove too many matches in. I like cards that are just 7 or 8 matches maximum. I know for a fact that I think one of these matches, but I don't see which one could actually go on the buy-in. I think there's going to be another match added, probably on Dynamite or Rampage, that's going to go on the buy-in. So probably going to get up with 9 cards, but that's fine. I mean, 9 matches on the card, but that's fine. But yeah, I love a match like this. They got the 2 matches I'm most looking forward to on this has to be the 2 multi-man tag matches. I like the 10-man tag and the 6-man tag because you got a Falls Count Anywhere and you got a Minneapolis Street Fight. Those 2 are going to steal the show, in my personal opinion. Yeah, I mean, it's okay if you only have 1 women's match. I don't have a really pet peeve about that, but it's okay. But the rest of them, the card's good. You got a lot of top names against each other. Yeah, and like you said, I know we all would have loved to have seen Bryan Danielson versus Jon Moxley. Could have been a show stealer. But I mean, the most important thing right now is for Jon Moxley to get the help he needs, get better, and get right back to AEW next year, probably, hopefully. The most important thing is your health. You got to take care of yourself first before you entertain fans. So that's fine. I got no problems with Miro. He's alright. He's alright. So yeah, that's basically my to the card.
Whoa. Miro is what?
He's alright.
No,
he's alright.
No. Miro is amazing. Miro, essentially, this is the guy that we've been waiting for ever since that match that he had with John Cena at WrestleMania. This is the guy that we've been waiting for. This is the guy that all of us could see back then, and we were just waiting for them to give him just a little bit. We saw a little bit with the whole Rusev Day thing. We got to see just a little bit of what he was capable of. That promo that he cut the other night, where he's now like questioning his God and everything. Man, yes, you can't say that. You can't say that. But there's so many other guys on this card that's like, meh. I'll probably get some flack for this, but for me at this point in time, CM Punk is more meh at this point in time than Miro.
Here's the thing. The reason I would say Rusev is I it's not because I have anything against him. He's a good performer. As a powerhouse, as a brawler. I'm a high flyer guy. I like hardcore matches, high flyers. So
doing a somersault and everything else.
Yeah, I like dippy stuff. Put it that way. So that's I like. I mean, there are people like powerhouses.
I finally have a nickname for you.
Oh God, here we go.
Flippy dippy weirdo. There we go.
I don't think that's gonna catch on. That's something you just made up on the spot.
That's
You're the only one who's gonna be saying it. So, anyways, let's get into the card before this gets heated. We're gonna work our way from the undercard to the top. Like I said, I have Vaz's prediction, so I'm gonna read out his part and then give my thoughts. But let's jump right into it. We're going to start with the bottom of the undercard. That's the 6-man tag team Falls Count Anywhere match. Christian Cage and the Jurassic Express. That consists of Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus with Marco Stunt taking on the Super Click in Adam Cole, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on this one?
Look, I've liked the build-up so far. I've liked some of the backstage segments that they've had. It's been interesting, and I always like to see Christian, no matter where he is. Adam Cole, you know that I've only recently started watching the Black and Gold NXT. I mean, maybe about a year now. Cole was one of those guys that I really like watching. That being said, Super Click, man. Yeah, I don't see them. I actually see Cage probably breaking away from Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy at some point, and the Super Click going on to do whatever they do. But yeah, Super Click all the way. They're not gonna make them lose anytime soon. I may be wrong, and their first loss is probably loading as we speak. But Super Click.
Yeah, I think your Praetorian brother Vaz actually agrees with you because he's logged in Super Click as his prediction for the win. I don't know his exact thoughts because he's just giving me his predictions, but I'll give you my thoughts. This is one, like I said, I'm looking forward to the 2 multi-man matches. This is one of the multi-man matches I'm looking forward to simply because it says Falls Count Anywhere. If this was just a regular 6-man tag team match, I'd be like, nah. But Falls Count Anywhere, now that's where it gets interesting. I also like the build-up. I liked when they tossed Jungle Boy around like a rag doll the other week, Dynamite. That was awesome.
That was a cool
Then,
spot.
of course, the good guys got their own back when they double-teamed on the Super Click the other night. And, yeah, I mean, when you put Jungle Boy in the ring, he's so over. And a guy like Luchasaurus who's so over, and you team them with a veteran like Christian Cage who's got so much of hype behind him. There's just no way you can deny that they're going to make the Super Click come out looking like $1 million out there. And yeah, I agree with both of you, Jeremy and Vaz, for the win. And yeah, man, this is going to be an awesome match, a really good match that I'm really looking forward to.
That went on. Just before we leave, just before we go on, there is a spot that I would like the Super Click to stop doing.
I think I know which one.
I don't understand it. And as a guy that used to like seeing the worm and the heart punch and all those weird moves that I can go back to my childhood and call. Yeah, the Cobra. We've seen the Cobra. We've seen Mr. Socko. I don't understand that camel clutch spot with the running back and forth and the kissing and everything else. Maybe it's the whole what Vaz and I were talking about the last time. You know, when we were talking about how we don't get Bianca Belair and everything else. Maybe it's just maybe we're just old. Maybe I'm old. Maybe I gotta stop doing this. But I don't get that spot. I don't, not even a little bit.
I think it's just like Bianca Belair. That whole thing where she does with that smacking of her ass and stuff. This kissing on the cheeks is meant to annoy and be as obnoxious as possible and make you hate them even more. I think that's what it's all about. But I think we see Bianca Belair tone down obnoxiousness.
That's the case, then yes, they've reached their target demographic. Yes.
They hit their target demographic on that one.
Well done, guys.
We're gonna move on to a match that I know Jeremy has got a lot to say about because it has one of his favorite guys in the whole entire world.
All time, I love you, CM Punk. You're amazing.
Where's the? Before I do this, I want to ask, where is Cash Money? Where's that sign? I know you lost your market. I know you lost the sign too.
I don't know where my book is. Now that you mentioned it, I've lost my sign. I've lost my marker.
Next to your file.
Some of your WWE money, and I can buy a new marker and paper. Thanks.
You lost your marker. You lost your book. What are you going to lose next? Your smile? I can see that. So, yeah, it's CM Punk versus Eddie Kingston, the latest addition to the card. And I have to start this one off for one reason. That promo that Eddie Kingston did on Rampage, the single best promo that boarded between kayfabe and shoot in entire 2021. It took me back to the pipe bomb of CM Punk in 2011. And to have CM Punk himself standing there, bro. I mean, bro. I'm gonna do a Vince Russo, bro. I mean, come on, bro. That was the best promo in AEW of 2021, hands down. I don't care what anyone says. You guys in the comments can roast me. I do not care. That was the best promo of the year. And I mean, prediction-wise, it's a no-brainer. CM Punk for the win. They can't make CM Punk. The whole thing here with CM Punk, if you have been following the storyline, what they're doing is they're building CM Punk to take on everybody on the undercard and sort of quote unquote do a John Cena here, where he eats through everybody, gets to the top, and takes on the AEW World Championship around his waist. That's what's going to. And my prediction, I just want to put this out there, is that I predict that before this year is over, Bryan Danielson, I keep calling him Daniel Bryan, but whatever, same thing. Bryan Danielson is going to win the AEW World Championship, and I predict that by next year, February, at AEW Revolution, we're going to get the match that we've all been wanting to see since 7 years ago. Bryan Danielson versus CM Punk for the AEW World Championship. I'm just putting that out there. So, yeah, CM Punk for the win. Eddie Kingston, after that promo, I've got my eyes on him. Even if he loses on next week, he's on my radar now. He's the guy.
Is he only on your radar now?
Yeah, because of the promo he did. He showed me that now he's got what it takes to be great on the stick and in the ring.
So I'm going to give a little bit of background because not everybody knows why I have my issues with CM Punk. I used to be a CM Punk. I used to be like number one CM Punk. Like when this guy was still at ECW and he had the ECW title and he was feuding with Chavo and all of that, I was a CM Punk fan. I never watched him in ROH, but I liked him. I liked what he had to say. I liked the fact that, and then he had this documentary that came out as well, and he was talking about changing the company from the inside and everything else. And yeah, towards the end of his run, we started to see cracks in that whole facade that he had created. And that's probably why I went from being like a super fan to not really. I must admit, I like some of the things he comes out and says. He reminds me of Punk of old. And I think maybe, I'm not saying it's not going to happen, and I'm not saying it will happen, but maybe, just maybe, one day, I might have something nice to say about Mr. Phil Brooks, but it's not happening now. That being said, that pull apart on Rampage was amazing. Eddie Kingston did exactly what he needed to do. CM Punk did exactly what he needed to do. And they've set up this match perfectly. And I mean, like Eddie Kingston said, he doesn't care if he wins or loses. So we know that he's not going to win. But yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be hard hitting. I foresee someone coming out of this match with a concussion. But yeah, this is going to be a hard hitting match.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a hard-hitting match. And if that promo is anything to go by, I got a feeling that Punk and Kingston might actually have some, real heat between each other backstage.
I don't think so. I think it's the exact opposite. Because you find if you've got guys that work well together and know each other and they're comfortable with talking, it's like you and me. I'm comfortable talking trash to you and Vass all day long. Because I know.
Yeah.
I can talk about his team losing 5-0 and everything else all day long. I can do that. See, I can do that right now, and he's not here to defend himself. I can do that. I can talk about his team losing last week or yesterday, sorry. Again. And I don't even feel bad about it. I don't, not even a little bit. I can trash talk him all I want. He's not here to defend himself.
Oh my God, when Vaz sees this, he's going to take his phone and throw it against the wall.
He should have been here to defend himself, but he isn't. So, no. What up, Vaz?
And
And
speaking of Vaz, his prediction echoes our sentiments. He's also going with Punk for the win. And something you just... When we were just talking about Eddie Kingston a moment ago, something just like clicked in my mind. I just wanna say it to get out of my system. Imagine one day Kofi Kingston leaves WWE and comes to AEW, or Eddie Kingston leaves AEW, goes to WWE, and we get Eddie Kingston versus Kofi Kingston.
I'm going to have the Kingston brothers. I can't do a Jamaican accent. It's terrible.
It'll be like the Dudley Boys. The Dudley Boys. One's white, one's black. That's what it's gonna be.
The
And
Kingston.
they come out
There
they
they are.
come to that song from the 80s. You know, AEW loves putting famous songs like Wild Thing and Jungle Boy's Tarzan song. They could give Eddie Kingston a popular song from the 80s. I think you know which one I'm talking about. In Kingston
Yeah,
Town.
work for it. Okay, no, it's not gonna work. For Eddie Kingston needs something like hype. The guy's insane.
He's a hard hitting dude. All right, next match on the other card. Another match that I'm sort of looking forward to is Maxwell Jacob Friedman of
Hi.
AEW taking on Darby Allin. Go ahead. I want to hear your thoughts on this one. I know you got something to say about this.
MJF is a heel. I'm tired of people saying he needs to get. You're a heel. Stop saying nasty. He's a heel. That's what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to make you feel like he's a dog. He's supposed to make you feel like I will say whatever the hell I want. I'm not gonna go on social media and like, oh, look at you, little man. Aren't you feeling unwell? Let me be John Cena and do make a wish. No, he's that guy. Not that guy. And this is why people didn't get Jinder either. When Jinder went heel and Jinder won the title, people still don't understand that. They are old school heels. When you saw Ted DiBiase getting into the ring, throwing money at someone and then kicking the ball away from somebody, it wasn't because he was trying to be nice to the crowd. He wasn't trying to get all his stuff in. He wasn't trying to be, oh, look, everybody needs to realize that I'm a talented performer. No, I'm a dick. That's what I'm here to be. That's what people are paying to see. I'm here to run you down. If I've got like personal material on you, all the better for it. That's what I'm here to do. That's my job. And you pay to hear it. His music is cocky. The guys that he hangs out with, it's like it's insane. That's what he's here to do. He's here to make you feel uncomfortable. He's here to make you look at him and hate him and want someone to brain him with a chair. And want someone, and eventually when somebody does like beat him, like, and I mean not just beat him 1, 2, 3, I'm talking about like beat him within an inch of his life, the way Ted DiBiase was with Andre the Giant, the way, but every he needs to get a receipt at some point, and that I think is lost on a lot of the guys that are watching the thing at the moment. Oh no, he's a heel, and he's got to get away with. He's not going to get away with this, and you don't have payoffs anymore. You don't have guys like doing the long promo where the heel, yes, he loses, but he loses like, but gets away with it. Gets away with it. He still does a post show. He still goes off, runs his mouth, everything else. Oh, you beat me, but not as badly as you think, and everything else. That's a heel. That's what he's supposed to do, and he's great at it. That being said, I don't know. This one's tough to call. MJF, just barely. Oh, by the way, before I forget, there was something that we were discussing about MJF, and Bass mentioned it about how can he be spoken about having like a good wrestling, that good work rate if he's only worked X amount of matches this year. He's even brought that into his promos recently. Like, I don't need to do this. I don't need to work as often, and that makes you hate him more. These guys, AEW, look like they really pay attention. They go out, they see what people are saying, and I think the only guy on the WWE roster, or the only guys, should I say, that are doing this is like the New Day and the Bloodline. Nobody else. I don't know if they are not allowed to, or if they just don't. If the promos aren't measured that way anymore, but that's the way things are with them at the moment. Yeah. Okay, I'm done with my rant.
I was enjoying that anyways. So yeah, Baz's prediction sticks with Darby Allin, and I actually gotta agree with him on this front. Simply because I mean, like this whole storyline with MJF and Darby Allin, you gotta have Darby coming out strong. I think after his match with Punk, he hasn't looked as dominant as he used to. And here's the thing with MJF. He's so good that even in a loss, he can still keep his credibility. I mean, he just lost to Jericho All Out. And he still comes out looking like $1 million and is still a #1 heel. And I think that even his minimum work rate with his contractual obligations to wrestle once each quarter, that actually adds to his heel gimmick. It makes you hate him to the fact that, oh, he doesn't have to wrestle as much, and it pisses you off even more. And I got to give credit where credit's due. MJF's parents even hate him. That even adds more to it, to be like MJF's own mother and father. The man who gave birth to him and the guy who conceived him even don't even like the fact that they, conceived and gave birth to this ultimate prick. MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, I don't care what anyone says, is the #1 heel in this business today. He is a proper, old school, like original, OG, pure, 100% heel. That is what MJF is. Even if he loses in this and Darby Allin wins, I guarantee you that MJF is still going to come out looking like $1 million because MJF is just that damn good. He may not be a flippy-dippy wrestler. He may not be a brawler or a powerhouse, somebody who wrestles with fancy moves. But when he gets on that promo and he gets on that stick, he is the absolute best in this business today. So yeah, Darby Allin for the win, but MJF is going to come out looking hotter than ever. Yep. So we got 2 for Darby, myself and Baz, and you're going with MJF. Yeah, that's how it is. Now we're going to move on to
I would MJF to steal a win. I know the guys from What Culture likes to call it the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment. Because, and I think he's gonna force him into doing like a traditional wrestling match. And just when Darby thinks that he's got in his head and everything else, boom, surprise roll up, out of the ring, gone.
I could actually see that happening. And just to bring up on your most devastating move, I had a joke back in the day when a certain wrestler was around. It was a joke I had with myself. Back then I didn't have really wrestling fans to talk to. The most.
Now you have actual friends, not like back in the day we had to have imaginary ones. Yeah.
When I had imaginary friends too.
Hear me.
Back in the day, I used to have a joke with myself that the most devastating move in all the professional wrestling is the Cobra. That was my joke with myself. It's a devastating move. You just hit the Cobra and they fall.
People have actually kicked out after that thing.
Really?
We need to go and look into that. We need to go and look into that and figure out how many people kicked out after a Cobra. I promise you, it's probably not that many.
I don't think that many because they really put it into being this move that no one could kick out of. Back when WWE was still being cartoony and they had a dancing dinosaur as well. That was WWE back then. Moving on, we have the AEW World Tag Team Championship. I know this is a match you're looking forward to. You called it. You saying it's going to be the match of the night. That's the Lucha Brothers, Penta El Zero Miedo, and Rey Fenix defending the titles against FTR, Cash Wheeler, and Dax Harwood with Tony Black. I can never get used to saying that Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood. I'm still so used to their old names in the revival. Scott Dawson and the other dude. It was always that for me. It was always Scott Dawson and another dude.
Yeah, another guy. Yeah, number 5. Him.
There was actually I think a chant during one of the NXT takeovers when they were like, which one's Dawson, which one's Dash? Oh yeah, Dash Wilder, that was his name. Now, see, I had to go to the chant to figure out what the other guy's name was. So yeah, anyways, Jeremy, you're saying this is the match of the night. Let's hear your reasons why.
And you're probably gonna like this because there's gonna be lots of flippy dippy widow shit, like you like.
Yeah.
Lucha Brothers. I don't see them losing those belts anytime soon. And definitely not to FTR. Not yet, anyway. Yeah, I do like the Lucha Brothers. I think it was that cage match that they had. When they had that cage match, that was insane.
At All Out.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna go with the Lucha Brothers on this one, and I see this possibly. I can't talk this up any more than it's already been built up. Build up was great. Um, FTR just like MJF, classic heel, classic, absolutely classic heels. Um, cut probably. I think you can see the mere fact that they're working with Tully. You can see that the psychology is there, the way they work is there. There is a part of me though that wishes that Edge never went back to the WWE, especially with Christian being here and FTR being here as well. Could you imagine if Edge popped up on AEW TV and reunited ENC and then FTR?
Man, that would have been so awesome.
That's fantasy booking for you. There we go. But anyway, yeah, before I go too far off into the reads, Lucha Brothers.
I think I know why you're mentioning the whole ENC thing. It's because of the concerto that happened on Rampage. That's why you're mentioning it. I know.
Remember that callback during the Edge and Rollins feud? Yeah, and that phone call that he made? Yeah, now you know what I'm talking about.
Okay, I see. Yeah, man. My opinion of this match, I think everyone knows I've never been the biggest Revival fan. I get it. They're old school tag team wrestling. I get it. Cut the ring in half, tag team ring psychology. I get all that. Heels aren't supposed to be cheered. That's the whole point of you being a heel. You're supposed to be booed. You're supposed to be boring. You're supposed to be the person that everyone hates. So I get it. But at the same time, I just don't like FTR's wrestling style. But it's well documented that I do love the Lucha Brothers style of wrestling. The flippy dippy, off the ropes, super kick, chain wrestling, roll throughs, jumping up and down, off the ropes, off the corners, out the ring, in the ring. That's my kind of wrestling. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Lucha Brothers for the win on this one. They're retaining the titles. I do not see them dropping it this soon. And looking at Vaz's predictions, it's the same I think all around. Lucha Brothers for the win. So he's also predicting Lucha Bros for the win. And yeah, it has a potential to be a really good show stealer. I mean, match of the night, like you said. But in my opinion, my personal opinion, I think the match that we're going to talk about now, like right now, is the match that I feel could potentially be match of the night. Only because, before you say anything, the reason I think it might be match of the night is only because it is a street fight. Everyone knows, besides high-flying wrestling, I do love hardcore wrestling matches. You got 10 guys in a Minneapolis street fight. We have the Inner Circle, and let's see who's in the Inner Circle. You got Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, formerly Jack Swagger, Sammy Guevara, Santina and Ortiz, formerly LAX, versus the Men of the Year, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, an American top team that is Junior Dos Santos and Andre Arlovsky with Dan Lambert. This is a top match. I think it's going to be a show stealer because when you put weapons and you put 10 guys in, we saw the Stadium Stampede match over a year ago. That was an awesome match. I think this could be along the lines of a similar type of match. So, in my opinion, possibility between this and the Falls Count Anywhere match, show stealer central right there. So I'm going with this one. I'm actually going to stick with what Vaz's prediction is here, the Inner Circle for the win. Obviously, he's going with Inner Circle for obvious reasons, Chris Jericho. I'm going with Inner Circle because I see the trajectory of the promos, and I do not see America's top team in Men of the Year winning just yet. I think the Inner Circle is going to win. We all expected Jericho to lose at All Out and retire. Let's be honest. But he won. And while Vaz is happy about that, he also predicted in his predictions, I'm just going to state that he said his very own superstar Chris Jericho was going to be retired by MJF, but he won. So I think the same thing here. We all can expect America's top team in Men of the Year to win, but I got a feeling Inner Circle is going to win. That's my prediction. Inner Circle. That's predictions Inner Circle. Let's hear from you now.
Now let me tell you why both of you are wrong.
Okay.
So this year I see this being a long-term booking. I don't see this being a one and done. So you can't have the faces win off the bat, right? That being said, the other reason I don't see this being a match of the night contender is you've got two guys in here that I've seen Dos Santos try to throw a forearm shot. It's bad. That's not a working forearm. I'm not sure what that was, but it was something. And you got to remember, they threw Dan Lambert in this whole thing, and they can't let Jericho get his hands on him just yet. They're not gonna they're not gonna do that just yet. So I see this being, that's gonna be what it is. It's probably gonna have like cinematic elements and everything in it. Like the previous matches, they're probably gonna be in the arena itself and things like that. Yeah, but I don't see the Inner Circle winning this just yet. They're probably going to lose because of shenanigans. Remember, it's a street fight as well, and top team have more guys in the whole thing than they had to. The Inner Circle got to pick who they wanted to fight in the actual match. They didn't say anything about the other guys not being there. That's what I'm saying. So I'm going with Men of the Year. Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky are probably gonna be the workhorses in this whole thing. But yeah, I see what is this? Men of the Year and American Top Team winning this one. And they're gonna tease them getting a hold of Dan Lambert. They're gonna tease it a couple of times during the match, and it's not actually gonna happen though. And I think that's when you're gonna see match 2 and match 3 probably coming into the whole thing. We're probably gonna see a similar situation to what we saw with the Inner Circle and damn it, what's MJF's group's name?
The Pinnacle.
The Pineapple, yes.
I have a pen. I have a pineapple. Pineapple pen. I know how much you love that one.
We need to get you some props for the next one.
I have my pen. That's all I need. I just need a pineapple.
I'm sure we've got a budget for that. At least a pineapple.
Before we move on to the next match, there's something you mentioned, and I actually want to say 2 things on it about the cinematic elements. We've seen this a lot. The Stadium Stampede has cinematic elements. Last year, WWE's Money in the Bank at the WWE headquarters had cinematic elements.
First match in recent 2 people
saying that. Is it because 2 people died and came back, or is it because we had someone in?
Died, then they got better. They died, completely dead, then they got better.
What's the name of Mitch's husband on Modern Family?
Listen here.
We're gonna get away from there before you go off.
We're friends and everything, right? But when you start talking about Cam here, then we're gonna have a problem. That's why I like AEW stuff. No one looks like Cam on there. And I like Cam. It's just the mere fact that there's a wrestler that looks exactly like Cam and is completely, as far as I'm concerned anyway, overrated, overpushed, overweight, over everything. And I'm a fat guy. I just don't. And I don't know. I don't, and I apologize.
It's just so sad Baz and Kyle aren't here to enjoy this moment.
I don't get it, man. I couldn't get it on the Money in the Bank. I couldn't get it before that. And then the whole bit with Mandy Rose and everything else. So it was cringe. You just watch the whole thing and it just cringed the entire time. That's all you did. So yeah.
Yeah, like this whole cinematic. They even did that for Rebellion, Impact Rebellion last year with what was it Ken Shamrock and Sammy Callahan had like a street fight kind of match. It was actually kind of good. I mean, to come out of Impact, a match of that quality was. But this whole cinematic in wrestling feel started with Lucha Underground way back in 2014. If anybody's watched Lucha Underground, they were the first like promotion, groundbreaking to bring in that cinematic feel into wrestling. And if you've watched any of the matches, I've even said it on one of my Nash Pick of the Week videos that Lucha Underground were the pioneers. They were doing 2-night major shows before WWE and all of these guys picked up on it. They were doing the cinematic feel of shows before all these other shows jumped on it during the COVID period. So yeah, that's all I want to say. I just want to put it out there. Lucha Underground, they hit it first. Moving on to the AEW Women's World Championship. I like how they're calling it now the Women's World Championship because we have a TBS title, which is probably going to be the second tier mid-card women's title. Although I get it and I don't get it at the same time. Your talent pool in AEW, and this goes for WWE as well, when it comes to women's wrestling, the talent pool is so thin, yet you're adding another title in the hopes that this mid-card title would elevate some of the other women in the division. But I don't know how this is going to play out. I think maybe oversaturating it with having two titles. But I could be wrong that the TBS title could be used sort of like how the Intercontinental title is used to elevate someone up to be a legitimate threat to whomever is the Women's World Champion. But coming to this match, we have the AEW Women's World Championship being defended by Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, against one of Kyle's crushes in Tay Conti.
Yeah, I'm going with DMD.
Kyle isn't here. I'm going to give you the floor for speaking first.
Just to mess with Kyle. DMD is going to absolutely crush Tay Conti. Tay Conti is going to come out there and it's going to be a squash match. Be like a 30-second squash match. And Tay Conti is going to retire afterwards.
He said the same thing. Kyle said the same thing about Jericho and MJF and All Out. He said he was going to...
I know.
I remember. That's you saying this.
What up, Kyle? And these guys are not here to defend themselves. It's like, it's perfect.
The field day.
5. No.
I should have made a Diwali just happened. I should have made a package for Vaz with only 5 treats inside.
No, we should
So
have given
that's what you're going to say about the women's title match.
I do like let me be honest. Britt Baker is probably one of the hottest things on AEW at this point in time. I think at some point they're gonna have to take that belt off her, but now is not the time. Now is not the time. I don't know how they're gonna do it, and whoever they takes that belt off her is going to get the rub like you won't believe. I think contracts coming up. Those contracts coming up. I think she loses that to an ex-WWE female, and we don't see it come. I think that's the only way that they're going to take that belt off and generate some proper heat. And if we look at the people that have that they've lost, that she's beaten, I don't see anybody else taking that ball and really running with it. Just FYI, Nia Jax is a free agent.
I knew you were going to bring that up at some point. I just knew you were going to bring. And if Nia Jax does go to AEW, the first person I want to see her take on. I think it's obvious, and they have the same syllable starting in their name. It will look so awesome. Nia Jax versus Nyla Rose. That would be.
They murder each other.
What?
They will murder each other. Those two hit. Those.
I want to see it. Awesome. and
I have to believe it. I will love every second if Nia Jax ever signs for AEW, and they put her in a program against Nyla Rose, that is got money written all over it.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up. Like, and you and I have one thing I'd say. If anything is different between us, one thing we have in common, the one thing we like about these two women, we have a sickness for the thickness. Yeah. So you're going with DMD for the win, right?
They're not going to move.
My prediction is the same as Vaz's and yours. We're all going for DMD for the win. I think if Kyle was here, obviously he'd be the outcome, the only one.
Let's start off our own prediction on behalf of Kyle. Let's do that. Let's be that, guys.
You really want to do that?
Let's do it for our buddy Kyle. Come on.
Okay then. Falls Count Anywhere match. Jurassic Express, Christian Cage, Super Click. Who do you think he would pick?
I think he would go with the Luchasaurus, the Jurassic Express.
Yeah, I think so too because he knows Christian. But let's not forget during the all-out predictions he did ask if Christian would be good.
We're just picking for you.
CM Punk, Eddie Kingston. I mean, come on. He would go for Eddie Kingston. Okay, Darby Allin. Yeah.
He's probably going to go with Wardlow.
Warlord, as Vaz would say. Lucha Brothers versus FTR.
The Revival, yes. You would pick the Revival.
The Inner Circle versus Men of the Year and America's Top Team.
Yeah, he will pick Alexa Bliss.
And of course, he'd pick Tay Conti when she takes on Britt Baker for the women's.
I probably go with if I know our boy Kyle, and his tangent predictions, he would go with Anna Jay on this one. Hi, Kyle.
Let's not forget he loves short, petite, blonde women. Tay Conti right up the alley there. Okay, moving on. When they see this video, they're gonna go off. I swear they're gonna kill their phones or their laptops. Let's move on to what I consider the semi-main event. But I got a feeling, if I know anything about pro wrestling, this match should go on as the opener, and the winner of this match should come out after the main event. You know which one I'm talking about. It's the AEW World Championship Eliminated Tournament Final. Bryan Danielson versus your guy Miro. So before I lay my predictions and Baz's and Kyle's, let's hear what you gotta say.
The more I think about it, I can see 4 possible matches coming out of this. And 2 of those matches are matches that we want to see. We want to see Danielson versus Omega with that title on the line. And we want to see Page versus Miro. The only question is, do we see it with the title on the line? Or do we see it, and by a Daniel Bryan beard. By a Daniel Bryan beard. I'm gonna go with Bryan, whatever. Bryan Danielson. What the heck?
You got tongue twisted there.
I heard him. What do we call him now? Bryan
Daniels, I guess. American Dragon.
Danielson Daniel man.
Daniel's son. Danielson.
Yeah, yes, we should actually start calling him that, Mr. Miyagi.
Danielson.
Yeah, but I think just based off that previous match that Omega had with Bryan, the one that ended in the time limit, I think just based off that match and the reaction they had on that night, I'm gonna go with Bryan Danielson on this one.
Who do you think Kyle would have chosen?
Kyle would have chosen.
Because he knows both guys in WWE.
He would have chosen Orange Cassidy.
That's probably what he would have. Well, it's clear what who's Vaz going with. He's going with the GOAT himself, Bryan. And not GOAT as in greatest of all time, but GOAT as in, But anyways, yeah. So Southpaw Regional Wrestling reference here. We're basically seeing Dan Bandana versus Big Bartholomew. This is
all they need is Mr. McElroy to come out during this.
Mr. McElroy as the special guest referee. Man, damn, this is I really, you know what? I know and I understand Jon Moxley needs to get better. 100%, I'm glad he's getting the help he needs, but I really would have loved to have seen Bryan Danielson versus Jon Moxley. Would have been a show stealer. That would have been my match of the night for me. Like, put aside the Lucha Bros, Street Fight, and Falls Count Anywhere to the side. Danielson versus Mox would have been match of the night. But I'm sure next year, definitely, we have to get Danielson versus Mox when he does return and he comes back better than ever. My prediction is the same as Vaz's. Bryan Danielson for the win. Like I said at the top of the hour, Bryan Danielson, mark my words, and I'm going to do a Paul Heyman right here. Bryan Danielson is going to win the AEW Championship before the end of the year. And by Revolution next year, he's going to take on CM Punk for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. And that's not a prediction. That is a spoiler. That is my prediction for Full Gear. Danielson for the win. But I think Miro is going to go very far. He's going to. Danielson has this thing in him that he can make anyone in the ring he faces look like a star and look like $1 million. So Miro is definitely going to come out of here looking better than ever and take on new challenges. But it's definitely going to be before this calendar year is over. Bryan Danielson is going to defeat Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship. So I see him winning this and going on to face the champ in the main event, which we're going to be talking about right now. The main event of AEW. It is the AEW World Champion Kenny Omega with the Elite taking on Hangman Adam Page with the Dark Order. Now, I need to wrap my head around this. Hangman Adam Page is a cowboy. He said it many times. He loves doing cowboy shit, right? Why is he? And I had the same problem with Colt Cabana. Colt Cabana, he was this happy-go-lucky, flippy-dippy kind of guy. Here he is joining Dark Order, and now a cowboy is joining the Dark Order. At times I gotta agree with you and Vaz and even Kyle. Sometimes the factionalism in AEW is just too much, to the point that it's like if you're not in a faction, it's become NJPW. In New Japan Pro Wrestling, now, this is something you're maybe not used to hearing because you don't watch NJPW unless I've told you or Baz has told you about a match. In NJPW, every single wrestler has to be a part of a faction. They cannot wrestle one of the like the obligations is you have to be a part of the faction. You've got Chaos, you've got Bullet Club, you've got the Evil Club, you've got, I'm sure somewhere along there, the Good Club, you've got the Empire, you've got Taguchi Japan, you've got seriously the Evil Club. And you mentioned this before. Talk about doing exactly what it says on the tin. Exactly. They're an evil club. Really. Seriously. You got Los Iguanables de Japan. You got every stable under the sun. AEW is falling into the same trap. It's like every wrestler who comes in has to be part of the stable or they can't wrestle. It's dumb. Like Christian Cage is part of the Jurassic Express. He's got nothing to do at all with being Jurassic. Jungle Boy fits in, yes. Marco Stunt fits in, yes. He's just for the name says.
What does Marco Stunt
The
fit in?
secret is where?
Say to me how Marco Stunt fits in. What is he, like a louse on a Luchasaurus? I don't know.
He's a midget wrestler, basically. He's that really short dude. And then, I mean, I was thinking about it the other day. What if Brodus Clay as the Funkasaurus and Tensai as the Funk Monsters, or Tons of Funk as they were, joined Lucha Express?
Yeah, it was tons of fun.
Yeah. Brodus Clay was, what did they call him before? The Brontosaurus. And then he went away and came back as a Funkasaurus. And then you had the Funkadactyls. Imagine if they joined Jurassic Express. That would make sense, but it would make AEW look so hokey, like a WWE 2.0. Christian Cage has no business being part of Jurassic Express whatsoever. That's why I don't understand why is Adam Page, a cowboy, joining a Dark Order stable, a dark stable, a stable that Undertaker would fit in as a leader of. Or as I'm sure if he goes to AEW, they can't use that. They call him the Mortician, I suppose. You know, if Undertaker walked into Impact Wrestling the other day, they'd be on commentary like, "Oh my God, what is the Mortician doing in the Impact Zone?" Right? That's what it would be. So I don't get it, and I don't see how this makes any sense whatsoever. But here's my prediction, and it's going to contrast very much against Vaz's. And I'm leaving Vaz's for last because what he said on his prediction is really a smoke. Like, I didn't expect him to be going that direction, but he did. My prediction is Kenny Omega for the win. Like I said, I want Danielson to dethrone him in a 1 hour Iron match kind of matchup, at least for the AEW World Championship. So I'm going with Kenny Omega for the win. And as a bonus, I think after the match, one of two things will happen. Either Hangman Adam Page Hangman Adam Page will be distraught about his loss because he was so sure that he was going to win, that he's going to either be taken out by the Dark Order and be baptized as a way, like they're going to strip him of his cowboy gimmick and make him a complete Dark Order character, or he could be so distraught about his loss that he returns to the Elite and joins Kenny Omega and the Elite on their side. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. But before I mention what Zaz's prediction was, because I think it was really interesting what he said, let's hear what you have to say.
Okay. So, obviously, based on what I said with the Danielson Miro match to work, Omega needs to win. But still going with Omega winning. But just tweaking your earlier one. Page is actually costed his shot by the Dark Order and then leader.
He's what?
I say Page loses the match because the Dark Order costs him his match because of their new leader.
You're going in Vaz's direction already. You're already going in Vaz's direction. Yeah.
Because they've been playing it up a lot on Twitter and everything else, like trying to throw smoke and mirrors about who may or may not be in wrestling. And I know if I know Tony Khan and the way that he's operating and trying to bring people in, There's no way that he's leaving Wyatt out there, Wyndham Rotunda not coming in to AEW. There's no way he's going to just let him be out there for anybody else to get a hold of him. So the way I look at it is the Dark Order goes back to being a proper Dark Order, the way they were. And there's nobody better. There's nobody better to take them back there than Mr. Rotunda. And he cost Adam Page that he shot. And I know everybody wants Adam Page. Even I want Adam Page to win that title. But I think Hangman Adam Page needs to be the Tommy Dreamer of AEW. He needs to come close to it several occasions, and he needs to watch everybody else that's coming in win the big one. He needs to watch Danielson do it. Miro needs to do it. Everybody, all the ex-WWE guys need to do it. And Adam Page needs to win number one contender match after number one contender match and just not be able to do it. Just not be able to do it and just constantly build it up that way. And I think it could be excellent long-term booking. That being said, yeah, I want Wyatt. I know they've said that he's got issues on WWE and everything else, but I would like to see him unleashed a little bit, as it were, just to see what creatively he is capable of. I'm gonna go with Kyle's pick as well. What's that guy that comes out? Brandon Cutler. Kyle's gonna pick Brandon Cutler.
I would believe he would, yeah.
No problem, buddy.
That
Back.
prediction was the same as yours. I think except with the exception of Kyle, we're all going with Kenny Omega for the win. Actually, no. Yourself and myself are the only ones that saying Kenny Omega is going to win. Vaz is actually saying that Hangman Adam Page is going to win with the help of a return of an AEW debuting Bray Wyatt. I don't know where he gets that from. Could be. But there's just a couple of things I want to mention here of his point and yours. Your point first was I do like the idea that Dark Order need to go back to being that dark stable they were. They've been a face for about a year now, and the only reason they did that was the untimely passing of Cody B. They had to turn face, look good for the corporate social investment, I guess. And coming back to being a heel stable a year later is good. The Rotundas. Yeah, Bray Wyatt, definitely. They have to. It's gonna look so good because when Brody Lee came in as the Exalted One, we all knew him as Luke Harper in the WWE, and before that, he was with Bray Wyatt in the Wyatt family with Eric Rowan and all those guys. So Bray Wyatt coming in, it's almost like the guy who made the Exalted One, being that dark leader of the Dark Order, the new one, to take his place and really ascend the Dark Order to the top. The same way the Undertaker did for the Ministry of Darkness. Yep. And I like the fact that Bray Wyatt sticks to being the dark character. He always has been. When he was Bray Wyatt with the Lantern, he was a dark character. When he was the Fiend, he was a dark character. And now, going to the Dark Order, he's also a dark character. So that works for him. And I like the fact that they've gone in a different direction with Bray Wyatt. Even though we all know he's the son of Owen R. Shyster, IRS, they created a completely different new gimmick for him. He's making his own pathway. He's not doing a Curtis Axel where he's following in the footsteps of Mr. Perfect and trying to be Mr. Perfect 2.0. They've created a new gimmick. I would also like, and I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for this, but I would also like to see Taylor Rotunda, that is Bo Dallas, come to AEW and join the Dark Order. Maybe as one of the masked ones. We know 10, he's a masked wrestler. He could come in as a masked guy and just wrestle. We all know it's formerly Bo Dallas. It will work well. We have the brothers together again. I honestly think that when Jeff Hardy's contract comes up with WWE, he's probably going to do the same thing. Get on over to AEW, join Matt, become the Matt Hardy office, whatever they're calling that stable. But Vaz's prediction is peculiar because I don't see Paige winning. Yes, I do see Bray Wyatt coming in, but I don't see Paige. I see Omega winning because Omega versus Danielson is far bigger of a draw than Danielson versus Paige. It's hands down going to be that. So that's my prediction. So I'm going with Omega. You're going with Omega. Vaz going with Paige, and Kyle's going with Bradley Cutler. The last prediction we're going to do, and I kept this for last. I didn't say anything beforehand, but we're going to go with AEW tradition here. Vaz started this tradition. I'm going to give him props for this. We're going to do the ever popular AEW Super Kick prediction count. So we do have the Super Click on there. The Young Bucks are there on the card. It's a party like a Super Kick party. So Jeremy, what are your predictions? How many shots are you going to take for every Super Kick that happens?
No. I can't do that, man. That shape. No. These guys throw way too many Super Kicks. That being said, so we're going with just the one match, right?
No, in the entire AEW pay-per-view, how many Super Kicks do you see happening? Same thing all out.
With 72.
You're going with 72. I'm going to go with my same prediction from last time, just a notch lower, 99 Super Kicks. How many do you think Kyle would go for?
I think Kyle would be on the conservative side.
2,102. Okay. I think Vaz would go for 5 Super Kicks.
We need to look serious while we're doing this, damn it.
Yeah. No. I think he'd really go for 5 Super Kicks. You know, he's very famous for the number 5. I think he loved Biggie Langston's 5 gimmick in NXT. That was his favorite Biggie.
It probably comes from he probably was a King Kong Bundy fan back in the day as well, because King Kong Bundy would insist on a 5 count.
Yeah, I think he was. I think because we all know he hated tag team wrestling. He really loved King Kong Bundy.
Especially Vaz. King Kong Bundy here liked a 5 count, especially when he was at home.
Yeah. No, his favorite number was always 5, and I think he knows that the daily limit is 5 also, and I think you know what I'm talking about. But anyways, that's our major players' predictions. I'm glad we actually filled in for Kyle. I filled in for Vaz because he sent me his predictions.
I think we did a good job. I think we did a good job, and we were good. We were good people to do that. We didn't have to do that for Kyle.
Selfless, really.
Buddy. Gratitude, because we're good people.
I think the most accurate predictions we could have ever given was Kyle's. Kyle's is as accurate as ever can be, immaculate, and I mean,
Kyle might come out on top after this week.
Yeah, his predictions could be number 1. I don't think he has any chance of eating a Reaper chip at the end of the year. He could actually overtake you in points. Do you realize that?
Kyle's gonna do great.
He's gonna overtake you in points. I got a feeling. So guys, thanks for watching. Remember to drop a big like, subscribe to Pro Wrestling Central if you haven't already. Show some love in the comment section. Let's hear your predictions. And on behalf of Kyle, Legal Ball Eagle himself, Jeremy, your mother's favorite podcaster. Until next time, guys, peace and chicken grease.